they didn't get anywhere close. They barely even had a conversation. They're acting like the Red Sox said, hey, do you want Connor Wong for Joe Ryan? Like, is that good? That's what some of the reporting makes it seem like, which to me feels disingenuous. If a team calls you up and you can say their farm system sucks and their, 3 of their top prospects is not equivalent to 3 of another team's top prospects, fine. But if a team offers you 3 of their top prospects, you can't say like, oh no, what a half-ass attempt. The f*** do you mean? Like so I think the holdup ultimately comes down to if the Twins were like, okay, 3 of your top prospects, and we also want Wilyer Abreu, we also want Jarren Duran separately, not like a one or the other situation. And the Red Sox were like, we're trying to make this a prospect only deal. We're not trying to deal from our big league roster to make this happen. Then maybe that's the snag. But the language being used that they didn't come close or that it was a half-ass effort. I'm telling you, the Red Sox genuinely believe that they went all out for Joe Ryan.
How you doing, Kendra?
I'm not too shabby, Jay Stu. Happy to be here with you.
I've come off the anger that I initially had after the Joe Ryan stuff, right?
That's what I'm scared of, though.
You've never seen me mad, have you?
I've heard you mad.
You've definitely heard me mad. So there's a lot to get into. That is Jared Carabas from the Baseball is Dead podcast. He also does Section 10. He's actually one of my very good friends in real life. A lot of stuff to get into. I am here with Kendra, 9 to 11. Then it's Big Jim Murray. If you want to vent about the baseball trade deadline, about not being able to watch the Red Sox game last night because it was on stupid Apple TV. If you want to talk about the Patriots, we'll do that later on in the program. Patriots got some problems, brother. They got some problems, brother. But and we've got a grab bag. I know Kendra's got some stuff. We've got Madden ratings. I know you are very upset with the quarterback rankings in the Madden video game, which may lead to how the world views actual quarterback ratings. I know you've got some thoughts on that. But let's start, Kendra. Can we start with the Red Sox?
Of course. That's the only obvious place to start when I'm on with you, Jay Stu.
I appreciate that. People know me more as a basketball guy here, I think.
And I look at you as a baseball guy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm more both than anything else. And I made a shocking revelation to you before we went on the air that we might get to later, but
yes.
The audience has heard me rant about that before. But that is Jared Carabas. He was on the Baseball is Dead podcast, the Section 10 podcast. He also minds. Again, good friend of mine. That's him talking about how the Red Sox went all in on Joe Ryan. And so my frustrating point is I watched Joe Ryan pitch last night for the Minnesota Twins, and he pitched well, and it's frustrating. Joe Ryan should be a member of the Boston Red Sox. So here's what I'm starting to believe from all the reporting, all the gossip, everything I've been able to kind of figure out here. If you want to join, you want to vent, 617-779-0985. We're live. The stream might win today. I might cuss. We're on YouTube. Please, for the love of God, subscribe to the YouTube channel so we can make more money. I'm starting to believe that the Red Sox did have what they considered a strong offer to the Minnesota Twins, and that is their top 3 prospects. That's left-handed pitcher Peyton Tolley, that's shortstop Franklin Arias, and that's the outfielder Password Garcia. The problem might have been Password Garcia and the 4th prospect, and that's where I blame Craig Breslow for this. Breslow, I believe, was messing around with the 3rd prospect, the 4th prospect, and potentially either Jarren Duran or Wilyer Abreu. And that was what stalled the Red Sox from getting Joe Ryan and Griffin Jax, the right-handed reliever, who eventually went to the Tampa Bay Rays. As soon as the Red Sox knew they were out on Joe Ryan, Tampa had Griffin Jax for Taj Bradley. So I don't think the Twins asked for Mayer or Roman Anthony. I know that's been reported out there. I don't believe that. I'm doubting my own reporting, by the way, or gossip about the Walker Buehler contract being needed to move, although that would line up with what Chris Cotillo said about the Red Sox needing to move money to make a trade. But here's what it comes down to, Kendra. And you're a huge sports fan. You love players. You love all of it. The Red Sox had a player that they targeted, and they did not get the deal done. And that, as a fan, is frustrating to me. As I'm sure there are players that you would love to see for your teams to get, and they don't get them. And why don't they get them? Because there was almost curse number one.
Should we do an over-under?
If Jay Stu cusses or not?
Yeah.
There's a good chance. The stream might win today.
Are we going to take the over?
I would take the over, 1.5. But what it comes down to, Kendra, is do you want the player or not? Do you want to win actual real games, or do you want your Baseball America ranking to be number 1, number 2, number 3? And by the way, the Minnesota Twins might not even believe in your prospects, because that's what they're saying. There wasn't a deal close, because the Twins think your prospects suck. The Twins don't believe in your Baseball America ranking. And that's frustrating. And it's a horrible trade deadline for the Boston Red Sox. You can't pivot from Joe Ryan because you're so locked in. The Twins were ready to go with a second deal if they didn't deal Jax and Ryan to you. Kendra, your thoughts?
My big thing is that I don't even think it comes down to prospects. It just makes me mad that they don't spend money in general, because you're the Boston Red Sox. Like, anytime you have the opportunity to do anything, I get that the prospects had to be involved. I don't really care about the prospects. I'm sick of hearing about the prospects. My concern, and I said this on Twitter, was that when this was all over, and after Cotillo's reporting the fact that allegedly they weren't close, I trust Chris Cotillo. I do. You can feel about that how you do. I
like Chris. I think he's a good reporter.
I do too.
I think there's a discrepancy of what close is. And I think that's what we're kind of figuring out in the aftermath of it.
I think that it probably, for me, I'm going to trust what he says, because I think that it was just one of these situations where they wanted to wipe their hands and act like they tried, or their opinion of trying and not having to spend the money, not having to deal the prospects, whether it's them being cheap, whether it's them wanting to keep the Baseball America stuff, whatever. My big thing right now is I'm going to continue to stick with my take that this team plays up to good teams and they're Yankee killers. Other than that, I don't want last night, and I don't want Roman Anthony to kind of hype people up too much, spoil people too much, get this narrative going that this team didn't need to add. You needed to add. You didn't. Don't give them the pass because Roman Anthony's awesome. It's not enough. It's not good enough. You need them to be better. And as fans, it is your job to hold them accountable, because if you don't, nobody else is going to. And if you don't sit here and say, you know what, we'll give you the praise for Roman Anthony that you guys deserve. He's the future of this team. Whatever. Praise Roman Anthony while scrutinizing everybody else. Stop going to games. Stop buying merchandise. Why are you buying Jarren Duran's crap in the first place? Let it go. Like, you guys, there needs to be a grassroots movement here. I've talked to McCarthy about this on the air. The most awesome thing as a fan I've ever experienced was the clown out for Shad Khan. You guys need something like that. Getting Trevor Lawrence in the draft could not be good enough. It's not. I get the Roman Anthony thing. Do not let this poison your brain of what is actually going on here, because that's giving them ammo. Stop it.
Careful talking about Tony Khan like that. He's my boy.
Okay, well.
Tony Khan, of course, owns All Elite Wrestling, because I'm the wrestling nerd. So, Kyle, I know in the rundown I said Carabas 2 here. Let's play Carabas 3 here. Joe Ryan should have been an easy trade, because there's a bigger point with Carabas 2 from Baseball is Dead. So let's play Carabas 3 here, please.
How can he pull off a Garrett Crochet trade, but then you try and get Joe Ryan from the Twins, and it's like, yeah, no, like, can't communicate with that guy. Wouldn't Garrett Crochet be the more difficult trade to pull off? Or at least, like, he's a more highly sought after pitcher than Joe Ryan, and Breslow got it done. I'm sure Theo helped, but like, Breslow got it done. How are we both in the same place detailing an experience in two different ways? I don't know. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Craig Breslow is a great communicator. He's not.
Communication, not great. And you had the Bob Nightingale thing, which I'm not going to ask for, but essentially other GMs have problems communicating with Breslow. They had communication problems with Heim Bloom. It's a communications problem. And you can get Crochet done with the help of Theo, who Tony Maz called the Easter Bunny yesterday, which was interesting. But the communication, not great from Craig Breslow. He needed help getting the Garrett Crochet deal done. Craig Breslow needs help in getting these deals done. Again, Joe Ryan should have been pitching for the Boston Red Sox last night. He should have been the starting pitcher. And I know because I've already gotten the backlash. Cooper Criswell pitched well last night. Okay, give me Cooper Criswell as your game 2 starter. What happens, Kendra? What happens if Cooper Criswell is your game 2 starter?
Trouble.
He might get 3 outs.
Trouble.
He might get 4 outs. But then you're porked, and if you're porked in game 2, you lose the series to whoever your first-round matchup is.
It's just they didn't do enough. It's not good enough.
And so communication. Do you want the player or not? Do you care more about your baseball ranking, your baseball prospect ranking or not? To your point, Kendra, about the money, last year, the Red Sox were 28th in Major League Baseball with profit spending. 28th. You're the Boston Red Sox and you're 28th in anything in Major League Baseball. That is a fail to me. That is an absolute fail to me.
But Liverpool.
No, Kendra. See, Kendra, those are not the same. See, the Penguins and the Red Sox and the soccer team and the race car thing, like they're all different business ventures. They don't go to the same pocket.
What do you mean? They're not saving money to invest in the NBA when it goes to Las Vegas?
No, that's not going to happen. That's all LeBron James's money. I have a thought on LeBron James later on if we get to it. But that's all different. It's not the same, Kendra. It doesn't go into the John Henry FSG bank account. They're all set. Years ago when John Henry came into the studio, right, and yelled at Maz and I thought I liked you. I thought you were good. Which we may get more from Maz on Monday.
Pictures of Maz from last night.
Yeah, Maz was in the owner's box last night.
Clock the tea.
More on that potentially later. More on that, maybe 2:20 on Monday. We'll see. But the Larry Lucchino runs the Red Sox. Sam Kennedy, the business guy, runs the Red Sox. So these are all business decisions that are happening right now at Fenway Park. And it goes to money. It goes to communication with Craig Breslow. Do you want the player or not? Does the rest of the league think that your players suck? Because that's kind of where that's going here. There are 2 other things from Carabas. One is, let's go to Carabas 4 about we might have to wait another season. This annoys me. Sorry, Kyle.
Call me delusional, but it's like, okay, like you've at least laid some of the framework to maybe revisit this in the offseason.
Oh, great.
He has 2 more years of control after this. It's not like he's an impending free agent. You weren't trying to negotiate the trade of a rental player. I think, this is a guy that you call the Twins up again and say, how do we get this done? Like they clearly have a large affinity for the player. I don't think that just goes away because you had one trade deadline where you couldn't get the job done. I'm sure they revisit it this winter, and I don't know. Does Theo get involved this time? Does Theo say, all right, fine, don't talk to him, talk to me. Well, let's figure this out. Is that a scenario? I don't know.
So another Theo mention. So why not make Theo Epstein the GM? Why not have Theo Epstein involved in all of this? Because Craig Breslow can't get it done. And remember, he was the 14th guy. He was supposed to come in here, do the pitching thing, revamp your pitching system. Nope. Nobody else wanted the job. Nobody wanted to deal with John Henry, Fenway Sports Group, Sam Kennedy, whoever it was. They did not want Alex Cora because he's a pill. I got more on that in a second. But another Theo mentioned, the Red Sox are in a playoff spot right now. Go get Joe Ryan. But no, wait until the offseason. So I have to waste 10 potential starts because you won't give up Jarren Duran. You won't give up Willer Abreu. The Twins think your prospects suck. So you know what? Go find prospects that they like, trade for those prospects, and then send them to Minnesota for Joe Ryan, who has seemingly become a Hall of Fame pitcher overnight. He's a good number 2 starter, but he helps you. And you know what? I think October playoff games, they're important. They're important to the city, who, by the way, this is a much bigger point Kendra, and I'll stop yelling as we go to break soon. Are you okay?
Yes.
Are you sure?
No, I'm just laughing at you.
Which everybody does, and it's okay. But Joe Ryan somehow has become the Hall of Fame pitcher. He's a number 2 starter, but more importantly, he's a player you've targeted. He's a player that the Red Sox should be able to go get, whatever the cost, because you get him for 3 years. So you could have had him for this playoff run and then 2 more. So you're probably not winning, but you get into the playoffs, you got a chance.
Okay, I have 2 questions for you.
Please.
1, I need you to give a grade to their trade deadline.
F.
2.
F. Failure. F minus.
2, gun to your head. Do you miss Heimblum?
I can't say what I want to say. No, I miss having the best GM in baseball or a top 5 GM in baseball. I miss having
No.
actual
No cop out. Gun to your head, pick one of the 2. I'm putting you in the take machine.
Option C.
No.
And I can't literally say option C.
No.
If I'd take Bloom.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
I'd take Bloom. I would take option C, but I can't literally say option C because there's repercussions for that. Before we hit the break, and I know it's 9:18. I'm sorry, Kyle. As a producer, I know how important the clock is. Although, why not just raw dog it? Carabas 2. This is an important takeaway from Baseball is Dead with Carabas. So fire away Carabas 2, please.
People within the organization were all like adding a Dustin May. We already have that. Why did we need to go out and get that? We gave up that. And then also when he had his press conference at 7:00, obviously people throughout the organization were sitting there listening and not believing things, being like, well, I don't believe that. I don't know that he has the confidence of a lot of people over there.
This again, the GM doesn't have confidence within the walls of Fenway Park. I don't know if that's Cora. I don't know if that's other people who are the O'Halloran guy who's a stooge for Sam Kennedy, Raquel. I don't know which members of the front office, but the front office doesn't believe in Craig Breslow, and we're not even finished with the year 2, Kendra. It's a problem already. You know something.
I don't know anything.
So Kendra, I know you. You know a lot. You're going to be Kay Adams on the NFL Network in 2 or 3 years, and this show and me, I'm just going to be a blip on your resume, on your pathway to stardom. So what do you know?
I just think that somebody is going to be a scapegoat in all of this, and I think it's going to be the wrong guy.
The wrong guy.
The wrong guy.
Okay. Do you want to put a name to the wrong guy?
No.
No.
I'll tell you off the air. No, I'm sorry. I know that that's the worst thing in the world.
So you just held me to a take of Breslow or Bloom. I wanted option C. And so now you're going to
I think that this is going to get Alex Cora fired.
Oh, I love that take. That's a great... I want to expand upon that because I want to expand upon that. It's 9:20. I'm late. I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm a producer, and I'm a bad talk show host. So on the other side, we'll follow up with the Alex Cora thing. I actually think it's going to be Craig Breslow who might get the axe. So this will be our talking point coming up next. More of that. Roman Anthony talk. More Breslow versus Cora. All this coming up next on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
include guys or anything like that. Teams have to like our players in order for that to happen. And, we went into this deadline feeling like, in order to accomplish what we needed to accomplish, what we hoped to accomplish, we couldn't take some of our young minor league players off the table. We couldn't go into this with untouchables, and we didn't. We were willing to talk about all of our guys in the name of improving the team. It just didn't work out.
And Password Garcia, who are the Red Sox top prospects, were offered in a trade. I think the fiddle faddling of 3 and 4 were the main issue. And I think the Twins also hated prospects 2, 3, and 4. And that's why you didn't get Joe Ryan. So again, go make a trade and get the players that the Twins want. Do it. Just do whatever it takes. If you want Joe Ryan, go get the player. Go get Joe Ryan. Now, Kendra said something in our first segment about who's going to be the fall person for the Boston Red Sox if everything goes astray, right? I think it's going to be Craig Breslow because Bob Nightingale's on the record. Craig Breslow is tough to make deals. We played a bunch of Carabas cuts from Baseball is Dead in the first segment where he mentions Theo multiple times in having to help out. I think Breslow's going to get the axe if they fail to make the playoffs this year. Kendra Middleton, you think it's Alex Cora? Why?
A lot of reasons, to be honest. One, it's got to be somebody. You're going to go with someone that's been there longer. If they really, truly, and deeply are as cheap as we know they are, they don't want to pay Alex Cora that much to get the same amount they would get out of somebody that they're going to pay half as much. On top of that, it's been enough time between that and your last playoff run for them to justify it. And with all of the management of Rafael Devers and him being too much of a player's coach, maybe taking shots at the front office at times, if there's going to be a fall guy, I think that they're going to use all of those things as an excuse to axe the money that they're spending on him for somebody else that you're going to get the same amount of production for.
Okay, so you bring up a good point about the communication. And if you go back to December and the Rafael Devers situation, Cora, on the record, is talking about Alex Bregman and the potential of him playing second base. Alex Bregman was never going to play second base for the Boston Red Sox. It was just a cover story until they got to Rafael Devers and communicated with him what the plan was. I don't know if they even tried. And so if there's a difference, Kendra, in having a boss or a leader. We all know the differences in our own personal lives of the difference between a boss who does as little communication as possible, who micromanages, versus a leader who's there with you, getting their hands dirt in the mud.
That you want to work for.
Dirty in the mud, dirt in the mud. Getting their hands dirty and digging in the mud. That's what I was trying to say. And still, this is why I'm a producer, Kendra. My words do not always brain to mouth, and it's difficult.
It makes it more entertaining.
Yes, it does. And I'm here for the entertainment of the listening and viewing audience. That's all that I care about. But if they had, on December 1st, if Alex Cora or Craig Breslow calls Rafael Devers and says, look, we're trying to get Alex Bregman, we're trying to get Nolan Arenado, they're going to play third base. We want you to start training to be a first baseman and a third baseman and a DH, because in our Grandmaster plan, we are going to rotate you around the infield because it gives maximum flexibility. We can match up. Everybody in baseball seems to be a utility player now. You have a gold glove, platinum glove player in Ceddanne Rafaela, who should be in center field for 154 games. Now you have to play him at second base due to injury. They want everybody to have position flexibility. Communication. And that's where I can see Cora getting fired because he's communicating well publicly right now. It's like, oh, we're a good team. We're okay. But I hear Carabas be like, people doubt the organization. And I go, well, that might be Cora. That might be other people who are around Breslow. That might be Brian O'Halloran or Raquel or whoever it is in that front office that's frustrated by what's going on and they can't get a Joe Ryan deal. They didn't even have a secondary deal done. Like Breslow's on the record talking about impact players, impact bats and pitchers, and you get Dustin May and Steve Matz. That's nonsense.
I just look further into the Rafael Devers thing in the sense that you can absolutely use that as an excuse in of itself to get rid of Cora, because I don't even look at it as like a boss manager situation in the sense that Rafael Devers would have played first base if he wanted and liked to work for Alex Cora or with Alex Cora. For me, it wasn't that type of relationship. It was almost like Alex Cora was the parent. And when you're a parent, not that I am one, but I have one, and sometimes you're stuck between being your kid's friend and you're stuck between doing what's right for your kid and disciplining them even when it's hard. If Alex Cora really wanted to discipline him, he gives him the option, either you go out there and play first base or you sit on the bench. And instead, he let Rafael Devers hide behind him and treat him like a whoopee and treat him like it was his child. And I think that that is the big issue here. And now you can look at San Francisco and the fact that he had it was a big question mark for him for a while. He got into a little bit of a hot streak, but they're still the worst team in baseball since that trade. And they had a hot start. So in reality, sure. Did you quote unquote win the trade? You can feel that way if you want to. You still gave him up for less than I think you should have. You can look at it once again. Hindsight 2020. Not going to say what we say around here, but if you know what we say, you know what we say. I don't want to get dumped before Jace do.
But the Devers, whatever he's doing in San Francisco, good, bad, indifferent. What you had in Rafael Devers was a 2-3-4 hitter who hits good pitching. And those are hard to come by. And Kyle Harrison pitched last night in Worcester. Did not look at the box score. Dakota, if you want to call and yell at me and tell me how great he was, that's fine. I don't know if he was good. I don't know if he was bad. They picked Cooper Criswell, who, by the way, pitched well. But again, game 2 starter in the playoffs, no thank you. But you have what Breslow was looking for was elite impact players, and they sold. They sold Rafael Devers for a less than package. 617-779-0985. We'll talk more about Breslow, Cora. I have what I think is the most important thing that the Red Sox have to do for their franchise. I'll tell you what that is coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Tax-free weekend.
being a realist.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You've dabbed your toe in the wrestling world.
Yeah, I'm trying. I text you with questions like semi-often, I find.
Yep.
I texted Andy Wong trying to get into one of his WWE events coming up. I needed to finalize my schedule for the fall with football, but I did that this week.
There's a bunch of them, Kendra. You've got the Hardy Party.
I know.
Next Sunday at Kowloon in the afternoon. You've got the Matt Cardona Big Ass Extreme Bash, the 24th, I think it is.
That's the one you might potentially see me at.
Yes, I might end up there. We'll kind of see. Matt Hardy scheduled to join Joe Murray on Monday night.
That's exciting. I'm on with Joe Murray on Tuesday.
Excellent. So Roman Anthony has the walk-off hit last night. Here's the most important thing that the Red Sox have a degree of power to do. You got to sign Roman Anthony to 10 years, $400 million. You have to sign him to a contract as soon as humanly possible. He's 20, 21, 22. He's in that range where if you make that big time investment into him, hopefully he takes it. He should take it, but those are the prime years. The Red Sox don't want to pay anybody 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years after age 30.
I'm just surprised
Get him now.
They didn't do it already, to be honest, because it seems like the obvious thing to do, especially because of the Christian Campbell situation. Like, you should have done this already.
They probably went to him and he spit in their face, figuratively.
Yes, he should.
Right? Like, Campbell took the contract because he's like, oh, well, this might be the best deal I get. And Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer are like, no, we'll wait it out. We'll play it year to year. Unless they don't want to be here, which I'm not doing that talk yet. That's for a future show. But like, at the first available opportunity, go to Roman Anthony. Do not let him hit the free agent market. Be like the Royals. Bobby Witt Jr., under 25, 11 years, $288.7 million. It's got options in it. I love Bobby Witt Jr. He's playing here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He would love to be a member of the Red Sox, but they didn't want him. So go out, get him. That contract that Bobby Witt Jr. signed, it's guaranteed at $288. It could get to $400 million. Vlad Guerrero Jr., he's now 27, 14 years, $500 million.
Crazy.
But that's 27. That's not 21, 22.
The contract length is insane, but the money makes sense to me.
So do that. It's money. You're paying Bregman 1 year, $40 million. This year, 1 year, $40 million. Yeah, next year, if he opts in, do it. Just get Roman Anthony signed to a long-term contract right now.
So producer Kyle made a good point off the air.
Great point.
Kyle, you want to give it before I say what I'm going to say?
Say what you need to say.
My question is, what's the contract status of both Cora and Breslow? Because part of it is also who has more of the ear, Cora or Theo, because as we know, Breslow is a suggestion / Breslow's Theo's guy. It's who he won for the job. So who has more the ear of John Henry, because that's going to be the scapegoat? Is Cora going to be able to talk his way into staying and becoming the new president of baseball operations for the Red Sox if Breslow gets canned and is, the bait? Does Cora just get shifted over and his contract stay in place? Or does Theo have more the ear of John Henry, says, well, Cora really wasn't ever the guy you wanted him. You just wanted him. So keep Breslow and allow Breslow to pick his own guy, and then Cora gets canned.
So because of that, I think that is your deciding factor for Bregman staying or going, is who stays in the front office or my head coach and who goes, because it's going to be somebody. I think that's your deciding factor.
So if Cora stays, Bregman stays.
Yep.
If Cora gets blown out, Bregman opts out.
Yep.
That lines up. That lines up. And quite frankly, I think I'd rather have Cora and Bregman, because at least they know how to cheat from the dugout and tip pitches and all that stuff. And so you have a better chance of winning if manager Alex Bregman is on your team, because he's so valuable as a player coach to the team. But you got to do whatever it takes. Get Roman Anthony signed. Get Bregman signed. It's money. Again, it's money for these players. Joe Ryan would have not only been here under team control for 3 years, for this season and 2 more, but the merchandise. Joe Ryan City Connect jersey. It's all there. There's a marketing. I saw this on Twitter. I don't know what that is. On Twitter, the Duran entrance in Philadelphia last night. Undertaker gong twice, and then the lights go down. Get your phones out, jamming music.
You have nothing like that here.
Nothing. You used to. Papelbon used to do it. Papelbon had a great entrance. There was a couple games he used the Ultimate Warriors theme. There was a couple. Oh gosh, I can't remember what else it was. Koji had a great entrance.
I get that there's been a lot of conversation about the fact that Duran's jersey is 13th best selling in baseball or something.
Yep.
But you cannot convince me that if you went to every single baseball team around the country and interviewed their fans, person on the street style, and asked them about Jarren Duran, they could give you legitimate thoughts, analysis, who he is, whatever, anything about him, because he's not the type of household name that should be the 13th best-selling jersey in baseball. He's just the best thing you've got, and I'm glad that people rallied behind him about his mental health after
Agreed.
he got canceled and whatever. I think it's a great cause. I think it's a great thought. I think it's a great mission. But just because of that, does that mean that you should be the 13th best-selling jersey in baseball? No, it's just because you're the only person on the Boston Red Sox that has any sort of name recognition whatsoever, and it's not because of your play on the field, it's because of your mental health mission. And I'm sorry if people get offended by that, but if you want to get offended that I think that it's important to spread a men's mental health message, respectfully, go away.
That is Kendra Middleton. Well, the point about Duran though is he's viewed, according to Alex Spear, as a leader in the locker room. But what I think his play on the field is they think that once he gets on first base or once he swings the bat, he can be on third base either with one swing or 3 pitches. And I think that's where the expected Jarren Duran comes into play. Like last year, I think last year will be the best year he's ever had in his life as far as a Major League Baseball player goes. I think that they are hoping, I think that the Red Sox are hoping for more of that. And I think that's why he's been batting third lately. Is who's the best offensive player at the plate on the Boston Red Sox? It's Alex Bregman and it's Roman Anthony. Not necessarily in that order, but Alex Bregman as your 2-hitter can't worry about Jarren Duran dancing around the bases. He's got to be able to see what pitch he wants and hit what pitch he wants. So you put Anthony in the 1 because he's likely not going to run, but he can go first to third very well. Anthony 1, Bregman 2, Duran 3 with whoever else behind him, because whoever else is behind Jarren Duran doesn't really matter. They have to worry about, is Duran going to run? Is it going to be a hit and run? And I think that's the construction of the lineup. It's not like the glory days of the Red Sox where it's Ellsbury, Pedroia, Ortiz, Ramirez.
Yeah,
that's the J. Stu. That's done. That construction of a lineup does not exist anymore. So you have to put Jarren Duran in the best situation possible, and that's to steal bases, to go first to third. And you can't have Bregman or Anthony worry about Duran dancing around first or second base. It just doesn't work out that way.
And I don't think you can... hear me out. I get so much so that the baseline of being a sports fan up here is the postseason. But people, I think, have clung on to the years of old here a little too long and have been spoiled a little too long to the point where they're unrealistic of what seasons are supposed to look like. But once again, that doesn't mean that you can't put pressure on people to be better, make the right decisions, spend money, whether it's the Red Sox, whether it's the Patriots. But at the end of the day, you're never going to see a lineup like that again, probably, most likely, realistically. But that doesn't mean that you can't have that one as a fan. I'm not sure that fans outside of yelling on Twitter are doing enough to put the pressure on. And I get that I think I told you about this. I think I've spoken to a couple other people at this station. I understand that night in and night out, it is mostly away fans at this park. But when I went to the Reds series, I was in a sea of Reds fans. That's such a random ass team to be packing out Fenway Park in the middle of the week. Are you kidding?
Awful.
That's the thing, is like, I get that he's still going to make his money, but that means that you guys need to be more creative other than just yelling on Twitter. He's going to make his money. You need to find something out. You need to figure it out. You need a grassroots movement of some point. Make his wallet hurt how you can. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like. But there's enough of you for that hive mentality to get out there and make a bigger hive. I'm sorry. Like, I get he's a billionaire. I get he can do what he wants with his money. At the end of the day, he's still in charge of this team. But you got to hit him where it hurts other than just running your pie hole on the internet.
So it's a problem that there's too much business in pro sports. And let's transition to the Patriots and some football stuff. 617-779-0985. There might be some players on the market for the Patriots. And the question becomes...
It's not a might.
There might be. Well, this is the tease. This is how I wanted to do the tease, Kendra. Do you want to do the tease?
I mean... Don't tempt me with a good time.
So there are a couple players that the Patriots should be interested in. One, are they interested? What would it take to get them? Will they spend the money for it? And oh, by the way, the Patriots had a season ticket holder city. If you live in the city, you can attend practice last night. I'll give you some thoughts on that. What I've read, what I've heard, the Patriots might have a quarterback, a QB1 problem, and a left tackle 1 problem. We'll talk about more than that.
Oh.
Yeah, how about I was trying to do the Madden lingo because we want to do Madden ratings later. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I gotta pull them up again because woof.
Yeah. So we'll get into some football thoughts, hopefully with you. 617-779-0985. More of James Stewart and Kendra Middleton coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for
Right now, Michael Hurley's still in studio with me. Bert, first and foremost, what are you hearing about what's really going on behind the scenes with Terry McLaurin and the Commanders?
There's just a fundamental disagreement on where his value is. He wants something close to what DK Metcalf got. That was a 4-year, $132 million deal, about $33 million per year. And if you take the whole of it, it came out to about $150 million over 5, with $60 million fully guaranteed over the first 2 years. The Commanders haven't gotten to that level yet. I don't want to see a report on this or anything else. But if you were the Patriots, would you consider trading Stephon Diggs in a second-round pick there? Because if you look at the idea of that, Stephon Diggs is from D.C., right? So that'd be a homecoming for him. And it would give the Commanders some more financial flexibility with the contract that Steph has. It would give them the extra piece of draft capital. And then the Patriots would have a receiver that you could build around for the next few years. Again, that's just an idea.
Absolutely, yes. 100%. Sign me up. I'll drive Steph Diggs to the airport to do it today. I'll do it right now. Great idea. Aggregate that. I had to edit down Bert. It was like a 3-minute answer. I cut it down to like barely a minute because, Bert likes to talk. But Bert, great idea for the Patriots. Go get this guy. Go get a young number 1 receiver who can work with Drake May. What do you think, Kendra?
I'm just not sure that the Commanders are going to give him up. I get that they want to. I think somehow they're going to reach a deal because who doesn't want to play with a great rookie on a contract like that? They can afford him. They've got another receiver in that room now. Do I think he's the number 1? Probably not. But I heard Zolak on the air yesterday saying that he would prefer. I get that division's going to be tough. How are you going to beat the Eagles? You can still get into the playoffs. It's the Eagles' time. It's their window. They could back-to-back. I don't think that they will. But if you're going to compete with that, how can you afford to let a guy like that go? And I just don't think Stephon Diggs and a second round are going to replace the amount of production that you're getting from someone like that. I get that he's going to be 30 in, September? Something like that. But how do you let a guy like that go?
So Washington can afford him or won't afford him? There's a difference.
They can.
They can afford him.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're holding a bake sale for Washington, like we apparently need to hold a bake sale for the Red Sox. Like we're not starting GoFundMe pages, anything like that. It's just their choice. They don't want to pay him.
I think that they do want to pay him. I'm just not sure if I think it might be a player issue.
Sure.
I think that he is expecting more money than they want to give.
So pay him.
I agree.
Pay him.
Pay a guy like that. And that's the thing, is that their team is stacked right now. Like if they can somehow beat the Eagles, I think they're a contender. They've got the depth chart to do it. Jaden Daniels, like I said, rookie contract. If he stays healthy, you're good to go. We talk all the time about, the best quarterbacks that are backups in the league. Can they win you a couple games? How long is the injury potentially? Whatever. Because quarterbacks, once your guy goes down, you've got to just pray that it's nothing serious and you have a quarterback that can go out there and do what Josh Dobbs has done and win you some games that he hasn't. I hate that people are down on Josh Dobbs. I'm a pastor, not truther. But Jaden Daniels.
Oh, we'll get to him.
Jaden Daniels, love. Brian Robinson Jr., worker. Terry McLaurin, incredible. I have a lot of faith in Luke McCaffrey. Deebo Samuel, obviously you go out there and get him. I think that's a huge addition. People are sleeping on him. Zach Ertz, love. Noah Brown, love. Laramie Tunsil, you are forever and always my favorite, my GOAT. Your draft video that was released, my favorite NFL draft moment of all time. Epic offense. Probably the second most slept on defense in the league. What are we doing here? What are we doing? This is their window. They've got a cheap contract for a rookie quarterback. You've got to pay this guy. I don't think that there's any way in hell he winds up anywhere outside of Washington.
Well, if not, the Patriots should go get this guy. Absolutely go get this guy. It helps Drake May out, and we'll get to that. We'll get to the seemingly mess that was the practice game yesterday. But the Patriots, they can afford to pay him too. Brandon Ayuk, Calvin Ridley, Deebo Samuel, Cooper Kupp, Chris Goodwin, DK Metcalf. These are all names that were associated with the Patriots. And Burt Breer mentioned that Brandon Ayuk was going to get $86-something million in real money. Like, it took us 6 months to get that out of Burt. But if the Patriots are offering any wide receiver $86 million in real money, then do whatever it takes to get Terry McLaurin.
I agree that this is the best opportunity out of the list that you just named, because low-key, I think that the Patriots look a little bit like geniuses for the way that all of that shook out. I wouldn't spend that money on Ayuk. Godwin was never leaving Tampa. Calvin Ridley, I wrote my first article for the Sports Hub when that whole thing went down about how Patriots fans should not have their knickers in a bunch about that, because dude doesn't know how to run a route. He doesn't do the homework. He doesn't learn the playbook. You know where wide receivers go to die? Tennessee. You know where Calvin Ridley went to die? Tennessee. It's over. You should not be butthurt about that. Calvin Ridley is not a good player. I hate how it went down with, Kraft pointing fingers at his wife or whatever. That was BS in my opinion. But you can't be upset about how that list went outside of Godwin, but he was never leaving.
The point is that if the Patriots are in on all these wide receivers and they're offering the right money, why aren't they coming here? That's a question for a different topic.
I know why. Are you kidding? If you're a young millionaire looking for a new contract right now, who the hell would you rather play for? This Commanders team or the Patriots, regardless of how much money you're making? I get that with people my age, the priority is no longer a ring over paychecks, but you can have both in this instance.
Oh, but you can have both with the Patriots, Kendra.
No.
Don't you understand? 6 championships. How many Super Bowl appearances?
I said last week, people need to expect being above 500. That's an expectation. Getting better, that's an expectation. Staying healthy is an expectation, and being entertained. Other than that, sit down, shut up, and enjoy it.
Well, Kendra Middleton, on the other side, because you have the headlines, 90 seconds, no commercials, except for the read that's part of your headline. And there's a national writer, big time voice on the NFL who thinks that the Patriots are going to win 12-ish games.
I know where you're going with
make
this.
the playoffs and be a bully and be a tough out when they make the playoffs. This audio annoyed me to no end. We'll let you know who that voice was. We'll let you hear the entire opinion of the voice right after Kendra Middleton gets you updated with the headlines. Top of the hour, 10 o'clock, here on 98.5, The Sports Hub.
From the Tell Your Type Studios, WBZ-FM and HD1. It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
As you've heard all morning this morning so far, Roman Anthony hit his first career walk-off last night to beat the Astros 2-1 in the first game of a 3-game series. Game 2 will be today at 4:10 p.m. and Walker Buehler will be on the mound for your Red Sox. In other MLB news, Bryce Harper was ejected in the 7th inning of a tied game last night against Detroit for arguing a third strike call on a check swing. And the Patriots had their scrimmage last night with fans in attendance. Main takeaways were that Drake May went 9 of 18 with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. His first interception of training camp. Kendrick Bourne suffered a lower body injury in the early bits of the Friday practice. And Caden Wallace also suffered an injury and was sent to the locker room after spending some time in the blue medical tent. Also down in Foxborough, Matt Turner, former Revs keeper and Team USA goalkeeper. Yeah, he's back. But for the rest of the NFL, if you missed it yesterday, Micah Parsons, shocker of all shocks, he wants out of Dallas and has personally requested a trade. And breaking news this morning, the Broncos are signing all-pro defensive lineman Zach Allen to a 4-year, $102 million deal that includes $69.5 million guaranteed per ESPN. An Olympic standout, Sha'Carri Richardson, was arrested for allegedly assaulting her boyfriend at the Seattle International Airport. He has declined to press charges. Sports Hub headlines were presented by Celsius Energy Drinks. Refresh your energy with zero sugar, essential vitamins, and proven ingredients. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub, Boston's home for sports. I'm Kendra Middleton, and your next update is around 11.
If you've got the app, you've got Toucher and Hardy to wake you up no matter where you are.
Or who may or may not have been to jail.
Get the app. The 98.5 The Sports Hub app. In this town, sports happens 24/7. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
I think the Patriots are going to be pretty good this year. I think Mike Vrabel is going to come in and change the culture the right way. I think they've gotten some players that are going to make a difference. And the key is the coach. And Vrabel understands how to put a team together. And they're just being overlooked and disrespected enough. And there's just enough connective tissue back to the good parts of the Belichick era. I think the Patriots can make the playoffs. And I think the Patriots are one of those teams. You know, I've talked from time to time about the mindset when you get to the playoffs. If you're a team that has consistently lost and that gets bigger and bigger each year, the stress, the narrative, like with the Ravens can't get to the Super Bowl, the Bills can't get to the Super Bowl. You got to shed that. The Patriots seem like the kind of team that can just show up and just take your lunch money in a postseason game. And nobody cares. Nobody expected us to be here. We're going to take it. You shouldn't have let us come to the party because we're going to take it. I'm not saying they're going to run it all the way to the Super Bowl, but they could upset a team or two if they get to the postseason.
Not that that matters to anyone, but me.
No, but I'm trying to give the audience a heads up that if you
hear me scream,
if you have like a random F-bomb,
I might get the zoomies.
Yes, whatever that means.
Sometimes Kyle will watch me just get up from this chair, run a lap, and then sit back down.
I'm warning the audience that might happen.
I do zoom, especially if you're on YouTube. Sorry.
So and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do it. Mike Florio, national voice, prominent voice. The Patriots are going to be good because of Mike Vrabel. That's it. Mike Vrabel, career record, 54-45. His last
in a crap division.
Thank you. His last 2 seasons in Tennessee, 7-10, 6-11. We're baseline stuff means the Patriots are going to make the playoffs.
I haven't been to Smith and Walensky yet.
Oh, I got a person.
Tell them I know how to use a video camera.
Hanging ribeye. You've seen some of the videos that I've shown. It's a great experience.
I love that I am teaching you how to be in your social media era.
A hot dog, not hamburger.
Correct.
Hold it like a hot dog, not a hamburger. But New England is becoming this trendy pick, and it's just because of the coach. Like that offends me on so many levels. There are so many questions with this Patriots team, and just because they got a new coach, they're going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs.
It's lazy work.
People are better than this, aren't
lazy.
they?
It's lazy.
I guess they're not.
Lazy. And he just says stuff to say it sometimes. Whatever.
I'm happy to use the audio.
Let me ask you this, though, just because we were on the topic before headlines. Who do you think is more likely to wind up here, and who do you want more? Or who do you think would improve this team more, Micah Parsons or Terry McLaurin?
I want McLaurin. I want the receiver. I want Drake May to have a target.
I would say I think that I would want Parsons more, but McLaurin would make more sense.
So I think Micah Parsons and the Cowboys are just going through a drama right now.
You think they're Myles Garretting each other?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. See,
absolutely.
I don't think you come out with a notes app like that and personally request a trade. I think that he's the kind of guy where, unlike Myles Garrett, he doesn't really have this love for Dallas, this love for Cleveland outside of the story with his dad that Myles Garrett had. When you put out a notes app like that and you're basically like, F you, F your mom, and F everybody else here, I'm done. You disrespected me. You disrespected my agent. I gave you all this opportunity. I was willing to take less money than I'm worth, and you didn't put something in my hands. Plus, on top of that, I would probably be pissed off if I was in the roundabout carousel of Jerry Jones, and the fact that you're going to sign me long-term to deal with that drama, hell no, get me out of here. No, I will take less money to go somewhere else at this point.
So Jerry Jones won his championships early. Now he just cares about using the Cowboys' profits to do other business ventures.
And I will say, I'll give him flowers where he deserves them.
And Jerry Jones will pay Micah Parsons when he really has to. He doesn't have to
exactly.
Right now.
And like that's the thing I was just going to say. They draft well enough to replace the talent. It's that they can't make the talent mesh on the field. That's their issue. They have it every single year. They pump out a roster.
And that's because they have a C coach.
Correct.
If they got Bill Belichick, even at his advanced age, and Jordan goes more days without incident, then maybe you've got a chance. But they need an A coach. They need a top 5-10 coach.
Who
You're the
thought
Cowboys.
Mike McCarthy would be that? No, his Super Bowl ring is a fraud ring. Fraudulent.
That's the Aaron Rodgers ring, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers.
The hire this year was lackluster. Like, why would you go
Money. They cheap out on the coach.
Schottenheimer, are we serious?
They cheap out on the coach. That's what it is.
And they didn't have to. They didn't have to. You are the Dallas Cowboys. And honestly, Jerry, you're going to die soon. Just spend it. Who cares? Who cares?
Well, so this goes back to the Patriots and Mike Vrabel and Gerard Mayo. Vrabel was on the market last year, but you had already told that Gerard Mayo that he was going to get the job when Belichick was done. Everything was a year too early, quote unquote, because Belichick was such a mess here. And so instead of actually going out and interviewing the right candidates, it's, well, we have Mayo under contract. We don't have to deal with bringing people in. That's, flights, hotels, everything like that. So let's give Mayo the job. He's not ready for it. You get that mess of a season that you can't get back. It's Drake May's rookie year, and it was a mess. 1-9 for Drake May as a starter. And now you go to Vrabel, who national people like Florio are like, hey, they're going to make the playoffs just because they have Mike Vrabel. Well, Vrabel's last year's in a weak division, not great. But I have other questions. And if you're asking me, the Patriots might win 5 games this year. Their roster is bad. They can't pass well. They can't block well.
They don't spend
their
money.
Defense, they won't go out and spend actual pen to paper contract. You can say that they offered Ayuk $86 million guaranteed, but is it a Patriots guarantee, which is less than an actual guarantee, and you have to hit all these silly clauses or whatever? But let's talk about the practice last night at the stadium.
Jerry and Bob are just in a...
They're the same person.
They're in a who can live longer and have a winning season. Literally, that's...
The difference between Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft is Jerry Jones is in the Hall of Fame and Robert Kraft might not ever get in there.
Which I personally, regardless of how you feel about him and Jerry are equally crappy human beings, but they both deserve to be there. I
don't know that Bob does.
Wow.
Nope, it was Brady. It was Brady. It was all Brady.
I'm in that camp too, but you spent the money. That's your team.
It was a lottery ticket, Kendra.
I get it, but you can't have
Brady
one.
was a lottery ticket.
You can't have one without the other.
I lived through, I started in this industry, in this media, that time. If Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, Brady probably takes over a few weeks later, but they probably don't win the Super Bowl that year.
You just can't.
And then
have one
everything
without the other.
changes. There's a whole butterfly effect thing to it.
Talk about butterflies. It's like a symbiotic situation. You can't have one without the other. You can't have one without the paycheck. You can't, the checkbook, whatever. You can't do it. You gotta, sometimes that moth turns into a butterfly, and it doesn't matter how. Mother Nature, a.k.a. Bob Kraft, deserves his...
So Kendra, they since 94, when the cap came in and since Bob Kraft got the team, the Patriots are 30th in NFL spending of actual money. 30th.
Because people
so if you want to put it in there for a businessman, go nuts. But it's not because he got the winning lottery ticket of Tom Brady.
And people took pay cuts to play with the guy, but still
Tom Brady took pay cuts.
Yeah, I know. But I just don't think that you can have one without the other.
It's possible. I mean, we can do the Brady Belichick Kraft thing.
I'm Team Brady. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I am too.
Stupid.
Brady's the only reason to like football.
You want to go ahead and get that one out of the way?
The audience knows I don't like football, but Tom Brady's football I liked, and I liked it a lot. But here's what you've got with Patriots questions: Drake May, the offensive line, the defense. Globe headline today: Drake May gets picked off. Am I allowed to talk about Drake May? Am I allowed to question him? 1-9 last year. He's a puppy with big paws. I get that.
Do you think a sophomore slump is...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My concern is, and I'm going to preface this, I don't root for injury for anybody at all, at any time. I'm concerned that Will Campbell is going to get him Joe Burrowed because... I don't want this. I do not. It would be terrible for us. It'd be a terrible business thing. It'd be terrible for the town. But when you have a kid who has all the question marks coming in here about his arms and his fitness and his toughness, the way that Vrabel was yelling at him allegedly in practice this week. And then you go out there and Megan Oneliti gets a piece of sound saying the kid's never played in a game below 45 degrees and now he's a New England Patriot. Yikes.
Not good.
Yikes. If he's already struggling with the heat and you don't even know if he can handle the cold. You have no idea. Kid's never played a game below 45 degrees. What the hell are we doing here?
So last night at practice, and as we go to break, and we'll talk more about these Patriots issues, and we want to talk with you, 617-779-0985. You have a young quarterback who's learning a new system and who can't be a complicated system. Josh McDaniels, who I think is overrated. And you have an offensive line that has issues. Campbell gave up pressures to Truman Jones. Great name, by the way. Campbell, at different points in time, needed a running back to help him block. Mike Giardi on Twitter last night. The current collection of offensive line in front of May had some issues on different drives. Truman Jones had multiple pressures on Will Campbell. So can we panic about this? Can we panic about LT1, left tackle 1, being the number 4 overall pick and not protecting Drake May, the number 3 overall pick? The player who's trying to learn the offense has to now worry about getting his blind side, getting knocked out of a game. He's a running quarterback anyway. Can I not bring up these concerns, or are we like, Drake May?
I'm going to give you a free play outside of the Saturday over-under show here.
Under 5 wins.
Oh, I've got the under on the season already. The under on absolutely everything for Hunter Henry this season, because that man is going to have to block day in and day out, game in and game out, week in and week out. That man's going to have to pick up the slack. He's going to be a blocking tight end this season. He's not going to be your security blanket that he had last year because he's not going to be able to keep Drake May healthy. You're welcome. Season unders on Hunter Henry.
Drake May last night, 19 of 18, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. That was the scrimmage. Josh Dobbs, 10 of 12 with a touchdown.
The Pastronaut.
Kyle, Greg Bedard, what did he have to say about the Pasternak a few weeks ago with us, with Felger and Maz?
He was better than Drake May.
Oh, I had the sound drop. I thought I put it in your notes. I'm sorry. That's my fault. I'll take the blame for that. He was better than Drake May. Maybe we'll do it going to break, Kyle. 617-779-0985. See, Kendra, me in the a-hole chair, me as a host, I've put the producer to sleep. Like not paying attention, like falling asleep, all of it.
Josh Dobbs had a better day than Drake May.
When you say Dobbs, you mean Josh Dobbs?
Yeah, the backup that they signed, the Pasternak.
Yep, Josh Dobbs last night, greater than Drake May.
I love Josh Dobbs.
That's a problem.
I love Josh Dobbs. But I've loved him his whole career. I asked Dan Lifshatz.
No, I'd rather not.
Ryan Beaton, Kyle Fabrizio. I am a Josh Dobbs truther. I'll say, do I think he's a starting quarterback in this league? No. God forbid you need him to win you a couple games. That's your freaking guy.
Josh Dobbs had a better day than Drake May.
Dobbs greater than May.
Is he the new Joe Milton?
Oh, apparently Milton was better than him last year, according to Barth.
I love Barth.
I do.
I remember us going ham on the Joe Milton stuff before the draft.
I know. 617-779-0985. Red Sox therapy session, Patriots concerns. We'll talk with you on the other side next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
When you say Dobbs, you mean Josh Dobbs?
Yeah.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5.
to 99. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Jaden Daniels. That rounds out your top 10. This list sucks and blows, and the rankings are terrible. Kendra, your thoughts?
I, first of all, cannot get over how horrendous the picture of Josh Allen on the graphics is. Whose man is that? Who is that? Who is that person? That is not Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a white man. That's not a white guy. Who is that? First of all, I would like to say Patrick Mahomes, disrespected.
100%.
Second of all, I would like to say, why do people give Justin Herbert the benefit of the doubt? Kid has negative clutch gene. Negative clutch gene. Never going to play in a Super Bowl. Clock it, clip it, whatever you want. Jalen Hurts, disrespected. And Jaden Daniels, disrespected. I love Matthew Stafford. What the hell is he doing in the top 5? If you had to start a team right now, I think Matt Stafford would probably take the contracts out of it for 1 year deal, take everything, all of it out. Flag football team draft, whatever. Matt Stafford would not be in my top 10.
I'm with you on that one. Do you want to give your rankings, your top quarterbacks, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
All right. Here are my QB.
Backyard draft, is that what we're going?
Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jane Daniels. Everybody else sucks.
I'm going Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar.
And everybody else sucks? Everybody else is not worth your time?
Jalen would be 5.
All right, thank you.
Jaden 6. I would say it's tough between Jaden and Jalen. I think it helps that Jalen has the run game to rely on, and I think that saves him at times from getting overwhelmed. But I think Jaden's more raw than he is and more athletic.
I can work with that. I love Jaden Daniels coming out of college. I wish that the Patriots had lost more so that they could get him instead of having to draft Drake May by default, instead of having to draft Will Campbell by default. Like, I wish those things had all happened.
I'm going to give you the 99 club.
Sure.
Jamar Chase, Josh Allen, Justin Jefferson, Lamar Jackson, Lane Johnson, Myles Garrett, Saquon Barkley.
I think that's fair. Would I do that? No, but it's fair. I think Patrick Mahomes is the 99 until further notice.
And he played injured last year.
Mm-hmm. He's going to play injured every year.
Yeah.
But Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's the best winner there is, and he's being disrespected here.
Even though the interview came out of him saying that he does not diet and he eats Chick-fil-A and gummy bears and all the crap he wants, the dad bod makes sense in the fact that he's out there balling like that while eating absolute crap is insane. Imagine if he did like a carnivore paleo, I'm going all in, getting shredded diet. It'd be over.
Cane's is better.
Zaxby's is the best.
Never had that one.
Yeah, people up here are always like, oh, Cane's is so good. I'm like, because you guys don't have Zaxby's. Cane's is a wannabe Zaxby's. If you know about Zaxby's, 617-779-0985. Tell these fools what they're missing. I
don't, and I am insulted that you would call me a fool.
If you ever go below the Mason-Dixon, Zaxby's, ask for extra Zax sauce, buy extra, because you're going to want to eat it, and you're going to want to take it home.
Okay, noted. 617-779-0985. Let's go to RJ. RJ's on the Cape. RJ, what's going on? Welcome to 98.5 The Sports Hub. That failed.
Ooh.
There we go.
There
RJ.
we go.
RJ, how you doing?
I'm doing good. So, Kendra, I usually agree with a lot of your football takes, but saying Matt Stafford for 1 year, I get if you're going for the next 10 years, but saying for 1 year he's not a top 10 quarterback, that's crazy. You really think that?
I said he would be he'd probably be my 10th pick if I were starting for 1 year. Yeah, he would probably out of all these guys, I would probably take him 10th.
I'm driving right now, so I just went through the NFC real quick, and the only guy I'd take over him in the NFC is Jaden Daniels. I would take Stafford over Hurts. I mean, he was the only one to give the Eagles, anything in the playoffs. Stafford gets a little disrespected, but yeah, Jimmy, you got me really excited, by the way, the other day with the Red Sox trade deadline, man.
I know.
I gotta say.
I thought I had it.
I know. I'm bummed out, man.
I thought I had it.
I'm bummed
RJ,
out, man.
are you angry about that? Are you angry that the Red Sox couldn't close on
Wait,
Joe
I have
Ryan?
one thing to say. Not taking Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts over Matthew Stafford in the NFC is a crazy take.
Oh my gosh, Kendra! If you put Jalen Hurts on the Rams, they're 10 times worse, and if you put Stafford on the Eagles, they're better. Come on.
Disagree.
No way. Think about it that way.
Disagree.
Jalen Hurts gets a little disrespectful.
Imagine if Matt Stafford could run in that offense, though. That'd give you so many more options.
I know. Maybe I'd agree if they didn't have Barkley, but if you put Stafford in that offense with his throwing ability and Barkley, oh my gosh.
But think about how much Jalen used his legs to secure absolutely pivotal first downs for them in the postseason last year. Matthew Stafford is not scrambling like that to save a season. It's not happening.
It does freeze the defense. It does. I will respectively disagree.
RJ, final thought on the Red Sox before I let you go.
Horrible, just terrible. I don't want to hear anything about. They're the Red Sox. They could have got it done. If there's something they could have done. I mean, I love Abreu, but if all they wanted was Duran or Abreu, man, toss one of them in. We would have been better, right?
I agree, RJ. Like, trade Abreu, trade Duran, whatever it was. If you identify Joe Ryan as the guy, you got to go get him. We'll talk more about the Red Sox, 617-779-0985. Jim Murray will come up at 11 o'clock. Kendra Middleton and James Stewart have one more segment. Grab bag, Red Sox, whatever you want. 617-779-0985. Yeah, I was told not to sing. More of us coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports.
like adding a Dustin May, we already have that. Why did we need to go out and get that? We gave up that. And then also when he had his press conference at 7:00, obviously people throughout the organization were sitting there listening and not believing things, being like, well, I don't believe that. I don't know that he has the confidence of a lot of people over there.
So taking you up to Jim Murray at 11 a.m. It's just frustrating, Kendra, because not only did they not get Joe Ryan, if there's dissension within the ranks of the Red Sox, that's a whole nother problem. And if you have other members of the Red Sox organization who are venting to members of the media about the job that Craig Breslow has done, like, you got to make a move somewhere, whether it's Breslow's out or Cora's out, which is what you kind of think is going to happen, is that Cora might end up being the fall guy. I think Breslow might end up being the fall guy. It's frustrating. You don't have the pitcher that you wanted. He pitched for the Twins last night. You have a discrepancy around Major League Baseball about what your prospects are actually worth. And you have a GM who members of the media are being told is difficult to deal with. It's a problem, Kendra. It's a massive problem.
The whole thing is a problem, but I think, once again, not to lose sight of where the problem starts, and that's ownership. You got to let ownership have it. And I'm not sure that they are capable to have a season, even if they somehow make the playoffs, probably going to have a first-round exit. Even if that's the case, I still think that there has to be a fall guy this season. There has to be a scapegoat. There has to be somebody. Because the expectation heading into the season was being competitive. You didn't do anything at the deadline. Bad, all bad. Even if you do make the postseason, unless you make an ALCS or something like that, there's got to be somebody, and I don't see that happening.
It's frustrating because you're 81-81 last year, and now you've added Crochet, you've added Bregman, you've added Chapman, you fell into Carlos Narvaez. The Roman Empire is here, and he's playing well, and you're in a playoff spot, and you need more. You need more. And it's not just more for a rental for the pitcher in Arizona or for another hitter. Like, you have a chance to go Garrett Crochet, Joe Ryan, 1-2 in your rotation, and you're not willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that the Twins are satisfied with a potential prospect haul. And so this is where the reporting goes to, well, the Red Sox side thinks they were close, and the Twins side is like, no, they weren't close. So how do I read that? And I read that as the Twins didn't like your prospects. If Breslow is saying, yep, we offered as much as we could and they said no, then the Twins didn't like your prospects. And if that means you needed to trade Duran or Abreu to get the prospects, you go do it. Joe Ryan's a good number 2. He helps out long term. You can find another outfielder. They disagreed. And they didn't have a plan B either, Kendra, and that's frustrating too.
Personally, I think that they're going to lose Bregman either way, and that in of itself deserves a fall guy.
So that's a whole nother issue. That they're all combined, they're all connected. Bregman needs an extension. But the problem is, Kendra, and it goes back to the money, any Bregman extension starts with 2 years, 80. You guarantee those years. And Bregman, there's no incentive to unless you go to 6 times $40 million per year. And the Red Sox aren't going to do that. Breslow's not going to do that. Kennedy's not going to do that. John Henry's not going to do that. Maybe we'll find out more because Maz was in John Henry's box last night.
Pause.
Maybe we'll pause.
Clip that.
Okay, I gotcha. This is the big difference between sitting in this chair and sitting in the producer's room or just listening. Yes, I would have absolutely grabbed that as a drop in the future too. Good job, Kendra. Good job. But But maybe we'll hear more from Maz and his experience in the owner's box on Monday during Felger and Maz, because there is a photo floating around that Tony Maz.
Keep that drop.
Oh, I hope so.
I saw the photo.
Yeah, it's a great photo. It floated around Twitter. Maz went to the baseball game last night. He went to the Red Sox game because that's the only way you could watch it, because nobody's paying for stupid Apple TV.
No, the fact that they're raising their prices to get them and ESPN Plus, get out of here. I will be illegally streaming everything this year, and you can gargle me.
If I was doing political radio, I'd have a whole nother rant on that, but we're not doing that here. I'll call Howie instead, or Jerry Callahan, or somebody like that, or Marjorie. Marjorie's still doing it. Oh no, they canceled funding there, didn't they? Yeah, we're not going to do that.
We're not political, but I would love to be.
I would call into their show and complain. But back to the Red Sox, back to Maz. Maz went to the game last night. We kind of felt like John Henry was going to hunt him down and he was going to run into him. He did. There's a photo circulating around the internet.
Who took it?
Oh,
do we know?
I didn't get his name, but I did ask him because I, of course, needed permission to run it on Boston. He follows me. He's a Celtics guy, but he has Harvard in his bio. And now he's followed by a couple other people from the media, but I don't know his name, but he did give us permission to use it on TV. So, because I did that legwork last night. Because I saw the photo and I'm like, oh, this is great. But now we're at corporate Maserati because Tony is now being bought and paid for by the Boston Red Sox. So let's see what we can get out of it. Hopefully there's something that we'll find out on Monday. I mean, hopefully. I mean, so as far as I know, the last time that John Henry and Maz were in the same room, it was when John Henry came in here, angry as can be, to crash the Felger and Maz show. And he came in upset. We did 35 minutes on the air, and then we went off the air, and John Henry goes, I used to like you. What happened to you? And
that just makes me want to make you hate me more, actually.
So, and then we got back on the air, and we kept going with the segment, and then I saw John Henry at the 2013 World Series party. He had some very negative comments towards me and our show and the Felger and Maz show. And then
who doesn't?
I agree. Like I live in a world, Kendra, and I live in a world where if my name can ruin somebody's day, I'm proud of that. That makes me happy. That means I've done something to have you hate me, and the fact that people hate our show as much as they do, they're emotionally invested, so I'm here for it. But there are also people who like our show.
Haters pay y'all's bills.
Yep. It's did you ever see the Howard Stern movie?
No.
So Private Parts, the Howard Stern movie, I like more for the story than actually Howard, but his story is fabulous. But there's a part in the movie where the program directors can't understand why people like Howard, and the ratings guy says, well, people who like Howard listen for an hour. People who hate Howard listen for 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. So that's why there's such a negative vibe in the world. That's why everybody's critical, is because people listen longer, or at least they did for a time, if you're critical and negative and you make people think.
I
right?
think they still do. Like, it's not even an old concept.
Yeah, I think so too. As we wrap up here, is there anything that we haven't talked about, Kendra, that you want to go back to and talk about?
I just want to say that I'm really excited for Matt Turner to be back with the Revs.
Okay.
I don't think we need to get that far into it. I know that this isn't a soccer show. If you listen to DJ Bean this morning, good for you. I just think that that's such a good addition for them. I'm glad that it's familiar. I'm glad it's somewhere he knows. I'm glad it's somewhere he clearly wants to be. I think it's really going to help this team. I'm not sure. There was some discussion of if there was going to be a firing or whatever during this 2-week break that they're having. I think that you can get through the season, see how it goes. Now that you have some real goaltending, the defense has been an issue, but they've got to get some more goals in the back of the net. It's got to be, this run that they went on 2-3 weeks into the season. You got to go on a run again, and you need to close out the season strong. I'm going to be down at Gillette for some games at some point to go see Matt Turner. This is exciting not only for the city the rest of the season, but also just to have a familiar face and Team USA goalkeeper around town, I think is huge for a lot of reasons.
So championship for the Revs?
No.
Real question here, I'm not a soccer guy.
Too many moves on the Revs this year for them to be competitive. I think that regardless of what you think about the coaching situation, I like him, whatever. Too many moving parts from last year to be able to gel in one season.
So here's my follow-up question on the Revs is, why haven't they won? What does it take for them to win? Is it possible to win in MLS for the Revs?
This year?
This year, next year, anything?
I think that they've got to spend some money. I think it's been a big thing for them to just kind of sell off the talent they've had for the last, good bit, which I get that that's a piece of the MLS. I think that they need to spend some money, get some bigger players in here. It's tough to compete with, someone like, because I know everybody knows about, Messi in Miami and whatever. You've got to start getting more of this, La Liga talent, EPL talent at the end of their career to come in here and want to retire here and play somewhere like this. I get why people want to go to Miami. I don't understand why Wayne Rooney came over here and played where he did. It's not the hottest destination. You're going to have to pay people, but they need to start doing some scouting on, who's maybe someone who wants to come play in the MLS, have some fun, maybe stay healthy, end out their career in this. And it's, trust me, once again, not political radio here, but you're going to have to pay people to do it because everything going on right now, foreigners and getting their family here and being able to operate here, getting visas, all that stuff, it's a bit tougher. You're going to really have to convince people with your dollar to want to come and live here as someone who's not a passport holder here right now. And I think that that's a big issue, but that's what they need to do is go out there, get some guys at the tail end of their career, get some talent, spend some money. I'm not sure that the Kraft Group's going to do that, but that's the only way you're going to get better.
And I just want to kind of end on where we started, and that's with the Red Sox. And that is, Joe Ryan should have pitched for the Red Sox last night. He pitched in Minnesota. Cooper Criswell, I get it. He pitched better. But when you're lining up a potential pitching rotation, Joe Ryan is your number 2 starter. Cooper Criswell is not. And so what frustrates me is when I hear the Twins side say we weren't close, but the Red Sox think that they were close to a trade. And that goes back to Craig Breslow potentially overrating his number 1 Baseball America prospect ranking. I believe that the Red Sox offered Peyton Tolley, Franklin Arias, and Password Garcia, and they're haggling over Garcia and other prospects for Joe Ryan and Griffin Jacks. And so if I'm to believe that, then the Twins think your prospects stink. And if they wanted a major league player, whether it's Jarren Duran or Willie Abreu, or if they wanted different prospects from different teams, you make the trade possible to get those prospects. You can find another outfielder.
You're the Boston Red Sox.
You're the Boston Red Sox. You should not be 28th amongst Major League Baseball teams in profit spent, and that's what you were for 2024.
Nickel and diming people for what?
Because it's a business. It's a business, Kendra. They're all business decisions. And so there was a point where we talked more about baseball players than we did business stuff. And it switched kind of quick. And that's frustrating, where I have to worry about Fenway Sports Group and where their money's going and all this stuff. There was a time in our lives, Kendra, where an ownership group was nothing more than a steward for a city rallying around a common cause. And that was, as silly as it is, the sports world, we all get together to root for the Red Sox or the Jags or the Celtics or the Bucks or the Bruins or whatever it is that you root for, that you believe in sports, because it's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be about business.
I got to be honest, the less I know about the owner, the better. I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know who you are. I don't want to care. When I know who you are, usually it's a bad thing. Jerry Jones, Robert Kraft, Shad Khan. Nobody, I don't want to know who you are. Go away, spend your money, do your business thing, spend enough to win, shut up and go away. I shouldn't know who you are. You should be a figure operating in the shadows.
In the same way, you don't want to know who the referee is in a game. You don't want to know who the umpire is, because then there's probably a problem. But what a terrible trade deadline for the Boston Red Sox. F all over the place. And now the communication is not great between Breslow and people inside the organization, between Breslow and other GMs, and something has to happen here. And they might have to move on from Craig Breslow. They might have to move on from Alex Cora. The Red Sox have to do something, and that's problematic. I do have a closing thought, Jerry Springer, if you'll allow me one thing on WWE SummerSlam before we wrap up. John Cena did a promo last night, essentially turning himself into a good guy. I'm warning you, it's a setup. He's not a good guy. He's going back. He's going to do something so dastardly on Sunday in his championship defense against Cody that you'll know he manipulated this situation and he's going to be a bad guy. But if you want to believe he's a...
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston Common Coach offers round-trip transportation to Patriots games from Boston, Peabody, Rockland, and Plymouth. Tailgating welcome and some supplies provided. Group